The 11th of March 1938. German troops cross over the border into Austria. The following day, Adolf Hitler announced an Anschluss, or union, between the two countries, and Austria was swallowed up by the Third Reich. Ari Rath was 13 years old at the time. Until then, he'd lived a privileged life in Vienna, but that was about to change forever.
There's no question that Hitler made me a Zionist. As a young boy, I never thought of coming to Palestine or any other place for that matter. But when I came down the night after the Anschluss, and I saw the entire Vienna police already with their swastika armbands, I realized that the life here in Vienna is over for me.
And so, 8 months later, Ari found himself aboard a ship like this, carrying Jewish refugees to a new life in what was then British-mandated Palestine. He had left behind his parents and most of his family, and he was heading towards an uncertain future.
When we came off the boat to this pier, it was a mixture of feelings. First elation, but then sadness. The new reality hit us. I was quite clear that my childhood life was over and we were on our own, and we had to make our way in a new, strange land.
But the young Ari didn't realize that Palestine was gripped by conflict, a struggle between the Arabs who had lived here for generations and the Jewish immigrants who wanted to establish a homeland. Ari Rath was sent to work the land. Fields full of stones which the Jews had bought from local Arab landowners. It was back-breaking work, and sometimes the pioneers came into conflict with their Arab neighbours over that most precious resource, water.
The loss of life in the Holy Land must be brought to an immediate end.
The United Nations eventually addressed the conflicting claims over the land. The UN drew up a plan to partition Palestine into a Jewish state and an Arab state. The 14th of May 1948, and the British mandate in Palestine ended. A few hours earlier, the Zionist leader David Ben-Gurion had proclaimed the new independent state of Israel.
Ben-Gurion told me that declaring this state was the most difficult decision in his life. Heavy American pressure to postpone that, a split cabinet, the army warning that they might not be able to withstand 5 invading Arab army, and yet he went ahead.
The warnings proved right. The Arab countries refused to accept the new Jewish state in their midst. War broke out. By the time the fighting ended, Israel had captured more territory, and hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs had been driven from their homes. Palestinians call it a Nakba, the catastrophe.
Actually, it was a self-inflicted Nakba, unfortunately, because had the Arab side and the Palestinians then accepted the partition plan, they would have had a state that would be almost double the size what the West Bank, East Jerusalem and Gaza is today.
Since then, Israel has fought more wars with its Arab neighbours and captured more land. It has built illegal settlements and a wall that slices through Palestinian land. For Ari Rath, it's a legacy tinged with shame.
Israel today is very disappointing to the founders' generation. And as long as we Israelis will not be prepared to go back to more or less the borders of '67 or the so-called armistice lines, we cannot have any peace.
As the siren sounds on Holocaust Memorial Day, Ari Rath reflects on a journey that's lasted 70 years and on all the other young Jews in Vienna who didn't make it. Jacky Rowland, Al Jazeera, Jerusalem.